Battlefield 3 is a first-person shooter made by DICE that incorporates realistic elements of war with a video game twist, making a very enjoyable and quite well-made package. It ships in 2 discs, due to it being so large. The first one being your single-player game, and the other contains everything pertaining to multiplayer. The 3 main things that Battlefield 3 features are its campaign, co-op, and multiplayer. Starting right off with the presentation of the game, Battlefield 3, even on the consoles, looks absolutely beautiful. There's very rarely any visual tearing or glitches involved with the graphics of the game, and everything looks almost photorealistic, from the character models, to the maps, skyboxes, and even other things such as sun shafts and the way that laser lights and flashlights blind your screen. Animations look crisp and fluid, almost to the point where I feel like I'm playing Mirror's Edge sometimes. Even the gun kick is very well simulated and gives a very good feeling of just how powerful your machine is. When I say they really thought of everything here, they did.
Good effect on target!
Good effect on target? Nah. The single-player disc contains a default campaign story that takes you through the eyes of a US Marine, a Russian agent, an F-18 co-pilot in the backseat of a plane that should be out of service, and a crewman aboard an M1 Abrams tank. And for once, the Russians aren't the bad guys.
Do not do anything stupid.
Sort of.
This piece of shit right there stole 3 nuclear devices from Russia.
The synopsis of the story is pretty easy to summarize. You're a Marine who's been taken into questioning about something regarding a nuclear attack and an obvious court-martial.
So here we are. You look jet-lagged. And by that I mean you look like shit.
Most of the game is told through flashbacks, describing things from your perspective, as you try to stop a crazy man from setting off a nuke in Times Square. When it comes down to writing, the story is solid and makes sense, for once, and it's a fun roller coaster throughout the whole way. It's not something that particularly shines, but you'll have fun and be glad to say that you completed it. Mission design is unique, with a few awkward where-do-I-go moments, but other than that, it's time well worth spent. The co-op mode has 6 separate missions that you can play with a buddy. Everything you do in a co-op mission, from kills to revives, adds points to your stats and unlock progression. There are 7 weapons in total you can unlock from the co-op missions. Some of them all kit weapons, while others are class exclusive. It's a cool little thing to throw on the side, and the unlocks are an incentive to actually do it, but it's not something you would do if you had other choices. The variety is pretty cool, ranging from flying helicopters to sniping. Other than that, it doesn't really stand out. Well, maybe it does. Battlefield does very well in its multiplayer, like it always has. Whether you're a grizzled veteran or a newbie, there's much fun to be had here. Everything talked about in the introductory applies here. Sound effects are very well done and set up, and the sheer scale of the player environment is massive. Battlefield takes the concept of a first-person shooter to a whole new level. It's a class-based shooter, bringing the forward that some of you are already familiar with from Bad Company, with a few changes. Each class has their own unique weapons, gadgets, and abilities that make them stand out from the rest of the crowd, offering a ton of playstyle options. If that wasn't enough, the customization and unlock system in this game is enormous, and each class has their own unique unlock progression. Playing as a certain class gets you points in said classes, which allows you to unlock guns and gadgets for that class. Getting points with the gun allows you to unlock attachments, and there's lots of them. The attachments are set up in 3 types, first being your optics, the second being underbarrel attachments like bipods and foregrips, and the third being barrel-mounted and miscellaneous things. The system is pretty complex and allows you to try out tons of different styles of play. Battlefield also has lots of vehicles, including, but not limited to, tanks, helicopters, and jets. There's also unlock trees for vehicles, where getting points while using them allows you to unlock cool abilities for their respective trees. Albeit, it can feel a bit unfair sometimes for newer players starting out where they don't have flares for their helicopters, and are constantly getting blown up by Stinger missiles. one of the more OP things in this game. The game also has a stat tracking system online called the Battle Log, which if you saw my earlier video, you'll know how I felt about that. The class balance and gun-on-gun action is very well done, and there's tons of stuff you can do to help your team on the field. Mortars? Got it. Claymores? Got it. Anti-tank mines? Got it. Ice cream?
Lieutenant Dan, I got you some ice cream. Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
Well, there's always Battlefield 4. Battlefield 3 takes team-based action shooters to new heights and delivers a plethora of playstyle choices. Unfortunately for some, this game might not appeal to the crowd who's used to running and gunning in the lone wolf kind of fashion. You either succeed or fail as a team, and when you fail, it's not very forgiving. When you win, however, and have fun along the way, it's incredibly rewarding and something you can feel proud to say you participated in. If you have a group of friends who like shooters, by all means, pick this game up, and if you don't, go into a game and meet some people. You won't be disappointed. Graphics and presentation are easily the best on consoles to date, with very rarely any tearing or clipping issues. Sound is very well orchestrated in terms of immersion, but some of the guns sound a bit odd and not quite what you would think. Gameplay is stellar, the best Battlefield to date, and multiplayer is a blast.